Since we have so many people, I'm not going to sit here and dissertate, so we'll just start off. If you have a question.
So every time the weather dips below like 70 or so, I get like a cough. Whenever it gets a little bit cold. And it seems to be something that really doesn't go away. I mean, I'm on the diet like 95%, and it's just my clockwork. And I have no idea whether it's due to like mold or anything like that in my house, because there's a couple damp areas. There's a little leakage of a sink, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
Okay, he has repeated coughs when the temperature drops below 70.
70, yeah. Not very.
He thinks that's cold.
I
I'll back east.
Yeah, exactly.
Northeast.
That's where I was born.
Yeah. Anyway, usually when you have a repeating cough like that, it means that your lymphatic system is not working. It needs to move. If it doesn't move, you're going to be detoxing through the lungs, the mucous membranes, when 90% of the toxins are supposed to leave through the skin. The lymphatic system takes the toxins and dissolves them into a fluid to be perspired out of the body. Only about 10% ever makes it out the mucous membranes, including the intestinal tract and the urinary tract. None should leave. We shouldn't be toxic to have anything that's contaminated ever leave the body. But of course, we're living in a society where we ate all kinds of garbage and 60,000 chemicals now in food. So the lymphatic system is very congested. If you were raised on margarine, Crisco, any of that, hydrogenated vegetable oils, which are plastic, so they harden and solidify, blocking the lymphatic system. If you have a repeated problem, your body's trying to clean out through the lungs instead of the skin.
So
that means you can put hot water bottles around your neck, under your arms at night too, if you want to speed it. That'll rush it. A lot of people can't spend a lot of time in the bath, especially with the children and the family. So, I used to take 7 hot water bottles to bed with me and 3 beach towels to sweat into.
Nice.
And plus on top, because the moisture rises too, and so the covers would get very wet. And I used a down cover to make it really hot, and that helped move the toxicity out of the system.
So more lubes too, lubricating formulas.
Well, not necessarily. Are you doing one a day?
One a day.
That's all that's necessary.
Okay.
You've been on a long time.
Yeah.
And your skin is okay. There's a little dryness here, but that's because the lymphatic system isn't moving as well.
Okay.
And it's mainly not moving under your arms. It's okay in the neck. I see it moving okay there.
Okay.
But mostly under your arms, because your arms are really dry.
Yeah.
And in the groin area also, you have some dryness.
Okay.
So hot water bottles down here and under here.
Good idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Freddie.
My question's about radiation. On the last potluck, you mentioned...
I'm no expert on radiation.
You're not?
I only
why you were sending out keys? Oh, really? Oh, okay. But in the last potluck, you mentioned you wouldn't eat any fish caught in the northern Pacific. I checked out some stuff on the internet. And just because I was wondering, how much...
I wouldn't eat it without testing it. And I would test, like Kathy Ornstein asked me about that. I would test the fish every month.
How do you test it?
For leaking. Well, you need a Geiger counter.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no laboratory that checks for them.
Okay. So you
if
just
they
buy
did, they would be charging you probably $2,800 per test. And you could buy a Geiger counter for that. And if you get a bunch of people together, you all share the Geiger counter.
So basically you just hold it up and there's a certain number of clicks per minute?
Right up against the fish, and if it crackles...
Okay.
What you can do is you can skin it.
Yeah.
Skin it first and then check it.
Then check it.
Because fish have a tendency to build a lot of the toxicity into their skin, into their scales.
Okay. And what about like the produce? Because when I got on the internet, they were saying that in Philadelphia, the infant births went up 50% because it rained after Fukushima, and they figured it brought down a lot of the radiation, and there was reports about milk in Northern California being tainted, and
a lot of that is speculation.
It is.
I haven't seen anybody do the testing, and those people I went to, people who make those claims, I say, show me the data. Show me you tested it yourself, and you're not just giving me theories. Nobody's come up with. I want them to show me a video with them taking their Geiger counter and getting a reading. Nobody will do it, so I don't believe it.
So the same would apply to any produce or meat. Use a Geiger counter.
Yeah.
So we all should get together and buy a Geiger counter.
Yeah.
Well, what we all should do is get together, get an army together, and get rid of the NSA and the CIA. Because Hillary Clinton, our Secretary of State, 3 days after the Fukushima accident, she put together 5 aircraft carriers full of boron. The CIA and the NSA stopped those planes from taking off. You dump boron, she was going to fly over and dump the boron onto the sites, and that smothers, just like in Chernobyl. You bury it with boron, and then you cement it over, and that contains it. NSA and the CIA stopped her.
Why?
Stopped it. They want us dead. You have to realize that Japan was about to start taking over a lot of industry. They were also putting out a hydrogen car this year.
Hydrogen?
Yeah. Water-driven car this year. It's not coming out. You have to realize the people who are in government are locked into oil heavily. And they're not going to let any one country take that away from them. And Bush and the Rockefellers, of course, are the biggest owners in oil and gasoline. So they're not going to let it go. And it is a conspiracy. That would be sealed over and done with, and we could have applauded Hillary Clinton for a job well done.
I thought she was
They stopped
part of
her.
the problem.
Pardon?
I thought they were all part of the New World Order.
Well, she was doing, all of them, even Hillary Clinton's a part of the New World Order, but there were 3 different factions. There's the Jewish faction, there's the Mason faction, and that's run by, the Rockefellers and the Bush family, the Masons, Freemason bit. And then you've got Hillary Clinton group, which is the non-secular or non-religious faction that wants to control the world. So you have 3 of them. And you've got 13 families involved in these 3 organizations. So they all have their little ploy to get to the top. They won't step on each other's toes, except that they did step on Hillary Clinton's toes by stopping the Fukushima disaster from continuing. Now all the countries have given Japan until a year to resolve it. So that means we get all irradiated for a whole year. And the NSA and CIA was responsible for that. Of course they could still do it. You've got China syndrome going on, but still you can prevent it from irradiating it out into the atmosphere. I mean, the poor people in Japan their lifespan is going to be very short now. Everywhere. Okay. Do you have a question?
What is your take on hot flashes?
Well, it depends on if it's a love in your life or it's your hormones. So menopause, like I said in my book, menopause is a changeover in hormones that you produce. Instead of producing hormones for reproduction, you will produce hormones that feed your body more cells and help you reproduce more cells. So it increases usually growth hormones instead of reproductive hormones. So instead of reproducing other entities, including the ovum, and you'll be reproducing more cells in your body. Another reason women live 20% longer than men.
Do you think the hot flashes, they promote sweating? Is that a form of detox?
Yes, that is a form of detox. You're getting rid of a lot of those old hormones. Let's say you had, usually hot flashes deal with or coincide with endometriosis. Let's say endometriosis is when your body uses a cell that belongs in one location and uses it somewhere else because you're not reproducing cells in that area. So your body will borrow cells from one area and help heal another area when you're not reproducing cells fast enough, and that particular area needs a lot of help. So when that happens, if you have a lot of endometriosis with ovarian cells throughout the body, your body's going to go into periods in other areas of your body. Like some women will have a pain in their ovaries and in their shoulder, in their heart, in their lungs, in their back, because they have ovarian cells that are there that go into the period just along with the ovarian cells where they're normally located. When your body has to get rid of those, you'll have massive heat spells, hot flashes, and immense amount of perspiration. Remember, the lymph system is responsible for breaking those down. So we'll break them down into a liquid and perspire it to the skin. Okay?
Okay, and so is it important to flush it from your skin by taking baths?
Well, you can always help your body do that because you've got some hydrogenated vegetable oils is made as part of those cells. So you're not going to break some of that stuff down very well. So if you take hot baths, that reduces the burden on the lymphatic system in your body, especially if you're taking about 105 degrees. So you'll do most of your perspiring in the bath and you won't do as much outside of the bath. So it'll relieve that.
Yeah, so it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's probably because of the baths.
Because also your baths and your diet.
Aajonus, what did you say was in your shoulder and your ovary? I didn't get that part.
Okay, when your body uses ovarian cells to heal other areas, so you've got ovarian cells making up other parts of your body. So when you have cramps here, you're going to have cramping in those areas where the cells are used.
Even way after menopause and stuff like that?
During menopause, you should be able to get rid of it. The hot flashes are part of that. The sweating is part of that. Excuse me, perspiration is part of that. My mother said, horses sweat, people perspire, women glisten. Okay?
I'm very toxic, but I'm still not having I can't listen. Extreme a response to menopause as some of my friends are. I'm on the diet.
But you're on a good diet. You're taking the hot baths, so
Yeah,
it minimizes.
anxiety, insomnia, things like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not experiencing that.
Most people on this diet don't. They'll just have hot flashes. Only person I know that went over 3 months with hot flashes was Kathy Ornstein, and she had it for 9 years.
Well, I had a surgery. That's what happened when it developed.
Surgery, so some toxicity caused the issue there. So be happy with that. Because most women don't eat enough fat, good fats, and then they go through depression and all kinds of
So it's
side
the
effects.
best. And I'm particularly loving cream right now. Yeah.
It's a good time for a cream. Me too. See, I put on the weight again, and I'm so happy. I'm eating a half cup of cream a day or more, plus, a half a gallon of milk a day,
How are you eating your cream?
plus my butter, 2 pounds of butter a week.
How are you eating your cream?
Pardon?
How are you eating your cream?
I usually have it in my sport drink. My sport drink is like 2 cups watermelon, not the center, with the rind, the white and the yellow the pink and the red from the seeds down. And 1 cup of milk I use, and then a tablespoon of vinegar, about 1.5 teaspoons of the clay, the Terramin clay, moist Terramin clay, and 1 tablespoon of lime juice, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And this week I haven't had the coconut cream in it, but I usually put 2 tablespoons of coconut cream in it. And I blend all that, and 2 eggs, 2 to 3 eggs, depending upon the size of eggs. And I'll blend it all together, and I sip on it. And I have it here. So I usually don't have it after my meat, so that's why I don't have it now. And I put about 20 blueberries in it too. 20 blueberries. So this is it. It's delicious.
Why do you put the blueberries in it?
To help pull out metals.
I call that your sports drink.
Sport drink.
Every
Now, sport drinks, there's so many ways you can make it. A sport drink, usually made with 4 items, 3 cups of some of these 4 items, which are watermelon, whey, tomato, or cucumber. Now, while you can have watermelon causes more perspiration and more body heat than any other fruit. So I use that when I can get it. So I'll use 1.5 to 2 cups of that, maybe half a cup of tomato, and a cup of cucumber. Right now, I want to use my watermelon, so I made 2 cups of watermelon in this one and a cup of milk rather than whey, because I want more minerals right now.
Yes, I notice it changes. The recipe changes each time you talk about it in these Q&As.
Well, mainly the thing that changes is how much ingredients I use of the watermelon, the tomato, the whey, or the cucumber.
Well, it's varying.
And you can do whatever you like. It's up to you.
Okay.
Right now, I'm dealing with that cancer a lot from those injections that I got when I subdued. And you can see this scar right here. For 4 months, the tumor was rising and shrinking and rising and shrinking, and it was probably as big as my palm right there, and it would take 7 days to get that big. And then I would soak it in water for 3 to 5 hours, hot water, with the vinegar and the sea salt and milk in it, or coconut cream. And the next day, the tumor would be completely dissolved, less than 24 hours. So I've had to deal with that. And now it's finally stopped, and now you see it became a scar. So it's finished. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, had to deal with that. So I want more perspiring, so I've been doing a lot of perspiring in the last 2 weeks. So I've been using more watermelon in that mixture. Okay? Do you have a question?
Yes. This has to do with the vaginosis. You have mentioned to me about
the what?
Vaginosis. Has to do with the vaginosis. You have mentioned to me about Terramin clay and the douching of the kefir. But I noticed I feel good on all over here. It still doesn't seem to. So I was wondering about coconut oil, raw coconut oil.
Okay. She has a vaginal infection, and it could be bacterial, or yeast infection, a fungi, or it could be, viral. If there's a severe amount of itching involved with it, it's usually fungal, yeast. If it has a lot of pain and burning involved, it will be a virus. If it's bacterial, it'll just be an odor and maybe a little itching.
Well, it does itch and it hurts. I feel needles and pins.
Okay. So you've got a viral detox. That means it's very, very toxic substance. Because usually the body will use bacteria, parasites, and fungi to break down toxic substances in the body. If the substances are so toxic that it's eating, that it destroys, that it kills the bacteria, the fungi, and the parasites, they cannot, the body can't utilize them because it's a poison. So the body will make, the cells will make the cells will make a solvent, and that's what a virus is. They're not alive. It's not alive. It just is a solvent that cells make to dissolve tissue. Of course, you have a lot more toxicity there, a lot more acidity, and it burns tissue. So I recommend that you're not producing good enough mucus to handle that kind of situation. So make a milkshake and feed yourself through there, feed your vaginal cavity with some milkshake.
Oh.
Okay? Just 2 ounces. Just put it up in there, get up into the shoulder stand, take a syringe or whatever and pour it inside, and then roll your stomach like a belly dancer. Get it moving down into the area, and then, be fine. And that's the way your body will be able to form more mucus that way to protect the lining. And so your body will use mucus to absorb poisons that discharge through the mucous membranes, especially acids around the stomach and then the esophagus.
I still take what you said, take 2 tablespoons of turmeric clay a day. I still do that?
Yeah, that's always a good idea for most people. They're very, very toxic to take 2 a day. I take 1 a day.
1 tablespoon? In milk?
In milk. Well, no, mine's in my, I do 1.5 teaspoons in my sport drink, and then 1.5 teaspoons in milk. It's funny, I was an autistic kid and I could imitate anybody because that's why I couldn't communicate anymore. So I could imitate people's sounds, their movements and everything. And my father had a 8mm belly dancer from Egypt, and I saw her roll her stomach and I was able to do it instantly. It's a roll, yeah. I just, it was easy to get this muscle just rolling.
I just want to ask you one question because of the milkshake. I usually make kefir, and then I make like a milkshake with the kefir. Can I?
That's fine. That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Just don't use any ginger for that. Okay. In that, So if you're going to use that, pour it out and then put your ginger in it. Okay. You want to use ginger in your milkshake. Okay. Do you have a question?
Well, hormones again. Say 20 years after menopause, and I'm getting lots of facial hair. I mean, almost like you. So.
That doesn't have anything to do with that.
What can you do about it? I mean, I'm just saying at this age, 71.
Just remember, there's a lot of people who need to grow facial hair and hair all over the body because the body gets rid of a lot of heavy metals in the hair. That's why when you have a hair analysis, you will always find heavy contamination in it. As long as you come in this society, if you find some native tribe or something like that, they're not going to have concentrations of heavy metal. But if you have any injections in your life and you've eaten processed food, you're going to have those toxins, and they have to build out in the hair. You just need to shave. Yeah.
Yeah, pluck them out. Yeah.
Well, plucking, it damages the follicle, and then there's a week that'll go by without building heavy metals into it. So then your skin's going to get thick and hard. So it's better to shave. Yeah.
So it doesn't have anything to do with hormones?
Nothing to do with hormones. No, it's major toxicity. Metal toxicity.
Well, I've noticed that my whole face has been detoxifying. My head has been detoxifying for years. My ears,
That's why your hair
my
is so
eyes.
dry.
Yeah, my hair's very dry.
Yep.
Yeah. comes out my ears, it comes out my sinus, it comes out my lips, it comes just my whole face.
Well, what I suggest you do is I suggest you wash with fermented, do a shampoo with fermented coconut cream. And, put that, wet your hair first, then put that in. Otherwise, your hair is going to be very greasy for 24 hours. And that'll mitigate it to somewhat. It's still going to be oily, but it'll be nice. Your body will be able to absorb it. Your hair will, even though your hair is really not alive once it's left the follicle, it still will absorb oils and then take them to the follicle.
And that'll pull toxins out of your scalp and your brain.
Correct, yes.
Because I figured most of it's from the brain.
Yeah, it is. Most of it's from the brain. It goes from the brain to the skull to the scalp. And then most of it's built into the hair. And then if it's a chemical, like let's say kerosene used in supplements, then that'll come out the skin, the scalp.
See, and
Not
so
built
you
into
make
the
the
hair.
fermented coconut cream by just leaving it for a long time?
Yeah, just leave it out of the refrigerator for a few days. Once it turns pink, it's fermented.
Oh.
Then you've got enough alcohol in it so it acts as a shampoo, as a soap.
Can you just leave it in with something over your head to...
Well, no, it'll stay in. Let me tell you, it will stay in. You just wet your hair, you put it in, you rub it in, and let's say you're using an ounce to do all of your head and hair. That's all it takes. And then you rinse it out, just with good water. Like you have the bath water, and you have milk in it, you have sea salt and some vinegar in it. You just rinse in that. Your hair's going to be oily. You're not going to be able to rinse it all out. And then you can rub some of it out with a towel, but it'll be moist, and you'll be feeding the follicle every minute of the day. Right now, you're not feeding it anything. You're not giving your scalp any help.
Oh! So that's going to help pull more toxins out? Or what does this do?
Well, it'll help protect your hair and skin better.
Okay.
Hopefully it doesn't increase the rapidity of your discharging toxins because that could cause
so this
hair
is mostly
loss.
for the hair? Okay.
No, for your scalp.
For my scalp.
Yeah. Like I said, the hair's dead.
Yeah.
Except at the follicle.
Right. So this helps the scalp do what?
It gives the scalp some fat to defend itself against the poisons that are getting into the follicle.
Okay.
As the body builds the poisons, the heavy metals into the hair.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Thanks.
Okay. Kathy, do you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask about wrinkles. You know about what you put the wrinkles on everything that might...
Yeah.
No,
I've said this many times. You take the bone marrow and you rub some bone marrow into it every day. Yeah. Yeah. Now you notice that most elderly people, the wrinkling starts around the mouth first. That's because most of the poisons that leave the brain leave through the gums. That pulls all the fat around the mouth out, so the whole area gets dry. So the only way you can replenish it is to have, butter or cream in your mouth frequently, or have milk in your mouth that have cream in it, and then putting it on the outside.
Bone
To
marrow
refill
and
it.
drinking milk. You said.
Pardon?
Having the bone marrow and drinking milk.
Yeah. Or cream or butter or anything like that. Putting the bone marrow on the outside allows you to absorb more fats rapidly.
Eventually will wear off.
Correct. And some people, like when I have a massage, I have 50% butter and 50% bone marrow. And just a tiny bit of, about a teaspoon of pineapple juice. And I'll take a piece of pineapple and I squeeze it in there. That's how I get my pineapple. Pardon? Wasana. Okay. You have a question?
Another question about skin. The last 2 or 3 years I've had trouble with rosacea in my cheeks and nose. And what would you recommend for that?
Okay, rosacea is when you're detoxing a lot of the poisons out your skin. From the brain, from dental injections. Most of the rosacea comes from dental injections. And that damages the the tissue all around pretty heavily because it causes a hardening. And when the body has to break down the anesthetic, like Novocaine or Xylocaine, it becomes caustic, and that causes a rupturing of the capillaries, and it's very acidic. Again, bone marrow is the way to protect your skin from this outside. Of course, you can eat bone marrow too. I eat bone marrow with my meat meals.
After rubbing it on, you can eat it afterwards.
If you have anything left, or you can leave it up there, have a snack. Okay. Certainly, if you have beard, you know, you can hide it under.
On that note, you recommended a variation of alternate nights with bone marrow and pineapple juice.
That was to get rid of heavy tissue wrinkles. She's just talking about around the mouth.
I see.
But like on your neck, you need to alternate. You need a lot of pineapple in there to break down, because it has a bromelain in it. It'll help break down dead cells that are filled in your tissue in your neck. Now that's a good thing you have your neck like that. That shows that you've discharged a tremendous amount of poisons from your neck that were in your brain. You can see how dangerous they were to your brain. And now it's come out and it's damaged your skin. Now to repair that skin, we have to break down the dead cells so you can replace them with live cells. And that's why you have the vinegar and the pineapple.
Did you get a formula? Does that have vinegar, have pineapple?
No, one day you use vinegar, one day you use pineapple, and one day you nutrify it with bone marrow or bone marrow and butter.
Vinegar, pineapple, and bone marrow.
So you're recommending a three-way alternation?
Yeah. 3-day cycle.
3-day. Okay.
All right. Do you have a question? Do you have it? What's your name?
Tatiana.
Tatiana.
Hi. If you're on kidney dialysis, is raw meat good for you? And dairy?
Well, you need to feed the machine.
The person that is waiting for a kidney transplant.
You need raw meat. You cannot heal. She asked, if you're on dialysis, should you eat raw meat? Now you have to understand the pharmaceutical industry loves her or people going to get dialysis because it's very expensive. Very expensive. So they love the money. So they will tell people, don't eat meat because you have a lot of ketosis that occurs and a lot of a certain kind of protein in the breakdown of the kidneys. The creatinine, you want it. If you don't break down the dead tissue in the kidney, you can't replace the cells. So you've got to have a lot of creatinine in your blood if your kidney is going to heal. So, as I tell everybody, whatever you hear from the medical profession, do the very opposite. And 99 times out of 100, you will be right. So, in order to heal a kidney, you've got to eat the raw meat.
Is there anything else on top of the raw meat to help the kidneys recover quicker? Or?
Well, eating kidney helps, even though it's high in ammonia. It's kind of nasty tasting, but that helps. Eating kidney. Eating heart or liver mixed with milk helps strengthen the kidneys. Usually the kidneys, any part of the body is usually breaking down because your lymphatic system is not cleaning. When they came out with margarine and right after World War II, that was the big era for jamming the lymphatic system. They knew if they jammed the lymphatic system, everybody would be predominantly seeing a doctor at least 4 times a year. 4 times a year. Before that, people were seeing a doctor once every 4 to 5 years. So the big difference, huge difference. So hydrogenated vegetable oils have the same molecular structure as plastic. Who wants to eat plastic? What's plastic going to do in your body? You're not going to dissolve it. You don't have any bacteria to break it down. You have no way to utilize it. So you have all these tiny little molecules of plastic all over your body. And they collect and they jam and they solidify and they turn into crystals. And they jam the lymphatic nodes and glands and the circulatory system. When that happens, the only way you can get those dissolved and moved is the bath at 105 degrees for 90 minutes a day. I've had people do it for 45 minutes a day, 40 minutes a day, and it worked. But on most people, it takes 90 minutes a day at 105 degrees.
I was going to say, you recommended for me the shorter baths for the next 3 months.
Yeah, that was to get rid of the lymphatic waste, not the lymphatic congestion. Lymphatic congestion is where the lymph glands and the lymph nodes and the circulatory system are jammed. When the lymphatic system dumps its waste under the skin, that's called lymphatic waste. And that's where you do the short baths, you get rid of that. But lymphatic congestion takes long and arduous hot baths.
How short of it?
Pardon?
How short of it?
40, 45-minute baths.
Okay.
Some people 35 minutes. Like he's been on a pretty good diet, not completely primal diet since 78, but pretty long. Pretty much on the diet since 78. So he doesn't have to do it. He could do it 35, 40 minutes, not 40,
I've
45.
done that for decades, years. Hot baths for half an hour. Hot, 110.
30 minutes won't do it.
Really?
Yeah. I can see in your skin it's not working. Yeah, you need longer.
So the short baths for the vessels and long baths for the digestion of that.
The short baths for the waste underneath the skin.
Oh yeah.
And the congestion of the lymphatic system itself, the nodes, the glands, and the passages, the veins. That's hour and a half, 90 minutes.
Now, if you do a long bath, that'll take care of the waste too, though, won't it?
Yeah, it will take care of both.
Yes.
When I find the hot springs, I'll spend the whole day there, 10, 12 hours in it. Wow. Hot spring.
But you'll come out here and there, right?
I crawl out. But I usually fall asleep in there. I don't mind falling asleep.
What about all the minerals in the water?
Pardon?
Some of the hot springs you go to are red, some of them are white, some of them are black.
Yeah, but those are minerals. They help pull toxicity out of the body. You don't absorb it in. Those molecules of minerals are too big. They're rock size. And only plants can break them down and absorb them. So we don't absorb them into the skin. I mean, if somebody put kerosene in there or some kind of solvent, yeah, it would get into the skin. But in those hot springs, you don't have that type of arrangement. Now, when I do the hot baths in like the tropical area, like I go to the Philippines, and there's a hot springs there, and I'll spend the whole day there, I have to get out frequently, or I have to have a bowl of ice there with an ice pack to put on top of my head. It only takes about 45 seconds with an ice pack on top of the head, and the body says, oh shit, I want to stay in this hot water, because the brain hates to be cold. It hates to be hot. It likes being cold, but it hates to be hot. So, and the body loves to be hot. So it's just the brain you have to cool. It usually doesn't take too long to cool it, so you can stay in. And this is our host. Thank you again. Host doesn't get any answers.
Oh. I got a question.
No answer.
Do you know what a brain aneurysm is about?
Pardon?
Brain aneurysm. What do you know about that?
Well, a brain aneurysm can come. An aneurysm is either a clogging and a breaking, or just a breaking without a clogging. So the brain, either the ganglion or the what is the other?
Capillary?
No, you have the ganglion, you have the axons, you have the dendrites. Any of that, if they get thin, if you don't have enough collagen in the body, you don't have enough protein, any of those can cause the walls of those dendrites, the axons, ganglion, to get very thin. And then if you get high blood pressure, eat salt or eat something that causes the blood pressure to rise, like garlic, too much garlic, that can cause an aneurysm. In other words, a rupturing, a bleeding, an internal bleeding in the brain. And if you have a tendency toward that, you just drink half a cup of green cabbage juice, and I mean head cabbage, not Chinese cabbage, head cabbage, green head cabbage juice every 4 days, 3 to 4 days. And then you won't have that problem.
But it does kill you.
No, there are a lot of people who have them, it doesn't kill them. Depends on how bad the bleeding is. Yeah, well, hers was severe then. Very severe. If she had a week before she'd had a cup of the green cabbage juice, it wouldn't have done that. She'd be alive today.
Or it might have been in her brainstem and affected her heart rate or breathing, things like that.
It's caused the raising blood pressure in the brain.
Can you have that cabbage juice even once a month or twice a month? Is just for maintenance? Is this a habit?
Well, if you have very sensitive skin, you have a tendency toward rashes, then it's a good idea to have the cabbage. If you have a tendency toward ulcerations, any kind of open sores, wounds on the skin internally, cabbage juice you should have at least a cup every week.
So if you had like bleeding in the rectum or ulcers you're talking about, those things...
Those things are part of an ulcer. Yeah. And your ulcers mainly are tissue that are so toxic that it doesn't allow adhesion of cells. So what you need to do is you need to have, to detoxify that area so that the ulcer will mend. To prevent the bleeding, you just need clotting, and that's what the cabbage juice does. It allows you to build blood clots, so even though you're not sealing the ulcer, the blood will clot and block the bleeding. Okay?
Bleeding there?
Pardon?
Bleeding is the problem?
Yeah, you're bleeding internally, you're bleeding out your rectum, you're losing red blood cells. That takes a lot of energy from the body.
It's out of control.
Yeah, well, you're going to lose red blood cells. If you lose red blood cells, you're going to lose a lot of nutrients. Do you have a question? Yes?
I do. This is a very unusual question. I'm not sure. In eating the diet and raw meat, I have found now, after a couple of years, that because I'm on this, I do intense meditation, I'm on a spiritual path, that causes a lot of stress within me. Because of the feelings. So when I don't eat as much meat, and I still do the meditations and all that, they diminish rapidly.
They what?
They diminish significantly.
Yes.
So,
not a good thing. You don't want it to diminish. Like I say, perspiration in the heat melts the toxicity out of the body. You can never get over 100.1 degrees, and no matter how intense exercise, whether you're doing Bikram yoga or any other kind of yoga. Yeah, I mean, but even if you're able to raise your body temperature, will never get over 101.1 unless you're in a fever.
That's okay though.
The heavy detoxification. So it's a good thing. You eat the meat. You have to replace cells.
I feel awful. I'm not going to go the rest of my life feeling awful. So.
Okay.
I have to do something.
All right.
So,
Well, I know 8 women over the age of 60 who live just on the raw milk, and they're fine.
what? The question is the meditation
Uh-huh.
cause the heat
Right.
to rise in the body
Uh-huh.
significantly to make it very uncomfortable. I am not going to give up that aspect. So
Right.
if I diminish the meat intake, it seems to subside significantly.
Correct. It will.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But I don't think that's a good thing.
also, there has to be another solution to, because I'm not going to walk around with that kind of heat. It's too much. It's too intense. And it causes the body to...
Well, then stop meditating. Because when you excite the Kundalini, you raise the body's temperature. There's no way around it. At least I never met a yoga who taught otherwise. You know, it always increases heat. But to me, that's a good thing, raising the heat, because it causes more discharge. Uh-huh.
Everybody has to choose their level.
Well, that's up to you.
Yeah. So
you'll do more cleansing. You'll do more cleansing at protein levels, cellular levels, as your body heats more. And of course, if you're a vegetarians will even raise their temperature more in meditation because their bodies are trying to adapt to an herbivorous diet. And herbivores have a body heat of 101 to 105. So when the body tries to adapt to a vegetarian diet, it causes a raising of body temperature in a lot of people. If the lymphatic system is jammed, it will cause a lowering of body temperature.
Because I was vegetarian for 15 years and I had that problem with other things. You're not saying baths and
What about Bikram's heat?
Well, you'll reduce the heat if you take the bath. Because you'll be doing most of the perspiring and breaking down of toxicity in your system of clogged fats in the bath. So you won't have to be as hot while you're meditating and arising Kundalini. Because Kundalini, you've got Kriya Kundalini, which is a cleansing Kundalini. You know, so.
Okay, well, and then with the watermelon, would that, like, you know, perspire. I've never perspired in my life.
Then that's why you're very so jammed. Absolutely. You should eat some watermelon and get into a hot bath. Do the hot baths regularly. If you were a vegetarian, that means you had a lot of vegetable oils. And the human body...
No, it was macro. They don't eat oil.
Pardon?
It was a macro diet. They don't eat oil. I mean, very little oil.
Oh, yeah, they use safflower oil, sunflower seed oil.
You're not eating. If you have desserts and stuff like that, then you have all that kind of stuff. So you're not eating.
Well, your macrobiotic teacher was different from mine then.
Yeah, well.
Because we always had 2 tablespoons of oil a day.
No.
So you're really jammed. So if you take a hot bath, you should be able to reduce the heat in your body when you're not in the bath. Pardon? Well, just getting in a hot bath is going to help, but the watermelon will allow you to start perspiring more. Everybody should perspire. Unless you were a dog or a cat. They only perspire out their noses, butts, and mouths. Tongues. Do you have a question, Marilyn?
Yeah, I was wondering about, like, when you were talking about the heavy metals coming out in the hair, so skin tags...
Being built into the hair?
Being built into the hair. Are skin tags and moles and things like that the same sort of thing? Or?
No. Your skin tags and moles and warts are tumors, dead cells. Sometimes if a mole will bleed, it's not a tumor of dead cells, it's a tumor of cells that were liver or pancreas or gallbladder or spleen, dark cells that are no longer functional as the gland or organ. So the body will build it into the skin because it can still act as a skin. But they can't break it down, so it just builds it into the skin. But you can put pineapple on it every 4 or 5 days, vinegar on it every other day, and it will peel off. It will reduce. Now, when it's outside. Outside. Like this one right here. This one was 4 times larger. And every couple of years I'll reduce it by putting vinegar and pineapple on it, and I'll peel it off. It takes about 5 or 6 days before the first layer turns into a scab. I'll peel that off. I'll get it wet, peel it off, and then every day I'll just peel another layer off until it's flat. And then when it grows again, because this is where my pancreas was so damaged from all the insulin I shot up till I was 21 years old, and it still will build some of those pancreatic cells here because it doesn't want to dissolve them, because that insulin is responsible for degenerative limbs. There are a lot of people who are diabetics who have deterioration of their extremities. They have gangrene, they have dissolving of the toes, the feet, the legs, the fingers, because of that toxic insulin. It's not a proper insulin. So I still have it damaging some of my pancreas. And pancreas and my prostate are the only two glands that are and organs that are not clear yet. So I have to keep working on that. Yes.
Now what about
Pardon?
curing Aajonus?
Oh. Yeah. That's again same thing, same kind of thing. Supply the vinegar and pineapple. But the pineapple usually only once every 4 to 5 days, because it will cause, that bromelain will start eating into your good skin as well if you're putting it on too frequently. And you try to put it right on the spot. If you're using it to get rid of wrinkles, like heavy wrinkles, like in Lewis's neck, you just rub it on one time every 3 to 5 days. Otherwise, your neck will burn because it starts damaging the live cells as well as the healthy cells. If when you apply the pineapple, you start burning, it's time to take some milk and rinse it off. And milk is, Cleopatra used it. Milk is great. I shave with milk, and of course I haven't shaved in 2 days. But when I shave with milk, and it's the best shaving cream in the world. It is also very good for the skin. If you haven't been on a good diet for a long time, butter and bone marrow are a little bit more important because you need more fats in the tissue, concentrated fats. But after you've been on the diet a while, milk is your best moisturizer for your skin.
So you just rub the milk on like shaving cream and then shave it off?
Yeah. Well, I'll leave it on for 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Yeah, and then I shave. Then I apply some more on and then shave.
Better than you let it evaporate when you apply it?
It absorbs. Yeah, absorbs.
So you don't follow up with rinsing it off?
No, you don't do that unless your skin is burning.
Better than PFC or coconut cream or anything?
Absolutely. Because the coconut cream, it's heavy oil, and it will jam up the blades. The milk doesn't do that. It rinses off in just warm water easily. Okay. With the coconut cream, you get to pound it. It's a great shave cream, but it's a hell that's difficult with the razors.
So you don't need any. Oh, you just said after you shave, don't rinse. Just.
After I shave, I put more milk on again.
More milk.
You want aftershave.
That's my aftershave. I have milk for shaving, and the aftershave is milk again. They tear my neck to pieces, so I was never able to use them. And if you're going to use an electric shaver, they have about 135 to 170 milligauss of EMF field, so you can't use them more than 3 minutes. It take longer than 3 minutes to shave with an electric shaver.
A cordless? Electric
battery operated doesn't make any difference. Does anybody remember?
I mean, that's what I'm asking. It's the cordless that has the 135 milligauss.
No, plug-in or electric. They both have it. Does everybody remember that TV show that cable show called Venting?
Venting? Yes.
Venting? I won every time I was in that show. But my issue, and my one issue one time, was vibrators that women use. I wanted to discourage that. So I had my tri-field meter and turned the milligauss, turned it on and showed it right on the camera. I said, listen, you women, you're going to be numb in 15 years. You won't feel anything. You won't be able to have orgasms, with that kind of milligauss treatment over 3 minutes. If you come in 3 minutes, fine. But if you take 15, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, you're damaging your nerves. So stop it. Do you have a question?
Do you have any
What is your name?
Brian.
Brian.
Do you have any suggestions for chronic fatigue syndrome?
For what?
Chronic fatigue syndrome.
Chronic fatigue syndrome? Cocaine. Chronic fatigue syndrome, that means your system is broken down in all areas. Liver isn't working, your lymphatic system isn't flowing, and your glands are even not operating. Now, a lot of times I found people with chronic fatigue have some kind of impairment, severe impairment in the body that can cause it. Their body can't afford to have energy. If it does, it could cause brain aneurysm and death. It could cause a heart attack. It could cause kidney failure. There are problems where the body says, you can't be active. You're going to have to be tired and take it easy. Once you take care of that sensitivity, that extreme part in the body, then you can start exercising again. But that usually means anytime somebody's in chronic fatigue has had a lot of abuse internally for a very long time. So it takes a long time to get over chronic fatigue.
Can you highly toxic? Is that another way of saying? Yeah.
Like she was a lab technician and absorbed all kinds of mercury and everything, and she became so chemically sensitive. It's called multiple chemical sensitivity, that exposure to anything would absolutely impair her from breathing. Now she's functional. She looks pretty good. And, before she started the diet, she was very weak, very depressed, very sensitive, almost, what do you call that when you don't want to go out of the house? Agoraphobic. Yeah.
And people were prodding me, get out there and exercise. Why aren't you working? All this stuff. And I'm saying, I can't do it. And that was my body telling me to rest.
She had no fats in there to arrest the poison, so if she got active, that mercury and those formaldehyde, all those chemicals will go in and start doing damage in the body, weakening the tissue. She could have brain aneurysm, heart attack, kidney failure, liver failure, all kinds of things if she had been active. Now that she has the fats in her body and she's healthier, she can be active. So you just have to be careful. You have to know what your situation has caused, why you have the chronic fatigue.
So is this formula overall sort of helpful for chronic fatigue?
It depends upon the individual what their problem is. Let's say somebody has a lot of formaldehyde and let's say benzene, let's say around a lot of airports. So they have formaldehyde from injections, vaccines, and then they have benzene, like I had one patient, heavy with benzene, which is airplane fuel. So he had all that in the system, very broken down, very tired, really skinny, a lot of problems. Now, I had him have what I call the solvent extractor, which is a little bit of mango and kiwi, vinegar, honey, coconut cream, dairy cream, eggs, and a little bit of sparkling mineral oil, all blended together. And they have to take that only once or twice a week. Otherwise, they'll go into too much detoxification at one time. So it all depends. Now, she had more mercury. There was mercury in formaldehyde. So I had to address that differently, mainly with the berries.
So this would go like a general thing, basic first that you use, your new formula. The basic
There's no basic formula when somebody's really sick. I tweak it for the person and for the time. Like now, when I first had her on the diet, I could only give her so much and so many things at a time. Now I can load her up with a lot of things. And she can enjoy it more. So, and it varies. Like I go through, like when I'm going through this cancer stuff, from those injections, my diet has to be very strict and rigid. The time I eat, what I eat, how much I eat. I am very strict and very rigid with it. And then when I'm not dealing with that, I'll have a little bit more sport drink than normal. I have more cream than normal. I have my meat meal at different times of the day, or meat meals at different times of the day, and I'm not as strict. So it depends upon the body's cycle. Do you have a question? Pardon? Oh yeah, she doesn't work in a lab anymore.
Every time I went back into the lab when I was trying to finish my PhD, I was 6 months from finishing a PhD when I couldn't work anymore. Every time I went back into the lab, I got so nauseated that I couldn't stay. Literally nauseated.
Well, you have to understand that even liquid mercury will vaporize, and it causes crystals in the formaldehyde. It is airborne all the time, so you're inhaling that every moment.
So who is working in the lab?
Very sick people, and they don't live long. The longest person I've ever seen was Elnora Van Winkle, and she was the neuroscientist that was responsible for cataloging all of the chemicals and cells in the brain. And she did it for 52 years at Columbia University. And when she came out of that at 72 years old, I think it was, or 74 when I met her, she was as sick as a dog's not sick, as sick as some very toxic humans. And put her on the primal diet. She recovered very quickly, even with that. Then she went on the, she did 2 years on the primal diet. She was the one who also took my list of 242 people that I worked with for over 6 years with cancer. And she called every one of them and found that 96 were still alive after over 6 years. Some of them as long as 12 and 14 years. So that's why I have that, little testimonial from her saying that, the statistics are true on this diet. That I said it was 95%. That was my calculation. She came up with 96%. Big deal. Well, one more person out of the hundreds that lives, with cancer. Pardon? Anyway, she went on the Instincto diet. Instincto. That means you have to like you have to like the smell of it before you eat it. They eat 60% fruits. Way too much fruit. Killed her in 9 months. She was dead. You remember, her body was already broken down with all those laboratory chemicals, and then they have all that fruit dissolve the body. She didn't live. That was it. And she got weaker, and she got cranky and irritable. Well, when you're in that state, how many people know they're assholes? How many people who are irritable and nasty realize it? They're so involved with their anxiety and their discomfort that they don't acknowledge what they are and where they are usually. And she didn't.
So
and I kept saying, Elnora, at least eat fat with all of that. No. The instinctives say you need to stay thin. I said, okay. So tasty.
That's one of those things you've always said, being thin. I mean, it's like fat, no matter what, it's always going to be your friend.
So that makes it hard to do high quality work in the lab.
You can do good quality work in the lab if you're using those chemicals to preserve tissue and to use as solvents. could use alcohol. You don't need, of course, it's more expensive, but the lab's going to reduce costs. They could use alcohol. They could use lime juice, and purified, filtered lime juice instead of formaldehyde. No, it's too expensive. Way too expensive. But they make fortunes anyway, so really it's not that expensive for them. They're just cheap bastards. Jeff,
What was that?
he loses pigment, he's lost pigment in his skin. That's a vitamin D deficiency. Your body, as soon as it gets the sunshine, it makes the vitamin D in the skin, it's absorbed immediately. That's a severe vitamin D deficiency. Usually means that the person is not using the calcium and other minerals properly in the body, not metabolizing, utilizing oxygen and getting rid of the carbon dioxide easily. So the person has to put bone marrow and butter combination on their skin, get out in the sun. Get as much sun as they can, get as much vitamin D as they can. After I ate the poison mushroom, I had those. I had all kinds of spots, like that one lady who was here, that's severe vitamin D deficiency. And I had those spots all
Brown
over.
spots, you mean?
No, white spots.
Oh, white spots.
White spots. So, yeah, like that. Yeah. So I had bigger patches. Those were small. Those look like more accident. That looks like scar tissue. Most of it. Yeah. Yeah, but whatever was put on the scar, the iodine or mercurochrome, the liquid mercury, is what caused that deficiency. It will cause vitamin D deficiency in the area. So you need to get a lot of sunshine. In those areas, you need to pack like moist Terramin clay on it to pull those toxins out of the body. They're robbing the body of the vitamin D in those areas. Okay, Bert, do you have a question? That's a very difficult one for some people. Normally it's just a protein deficiency. So eating a milkshake is very, very good for it. Most insomnia comes from dental injections. And until the dental injections, anesthesia, like xylocaine, Novocaine, you can have other kind, they'll inject you with, penicillin. Any of those can cause a severe protein deficiency in the brain and cause inability to sleep, insomnia. And it's very difficult because you have to pack the gums with clay every night and you have to remove as much as you can. You can even put it on your face, but you have to keep the clay packs wet. If they dry out, they're going to damage your skin and you won't be perspiring. So the clay always has to stay wet to be active. These cosmetic companies say, put the clay on, let it dry, rinse it off. What happens? You rob all of the fat out of the cells when you do that. So guess what you have to use? You use their moisturizers. See, that's the whole catch-22. Yeah, you keep that clay wet and it will pull poisons out of the body without depriving the cells of fat.
It's like an external layer of skin.
Correct, yeah. But that's
temporarily
absorbing.
there
Yeah.
to get the toxins,
Yeah.
then to be taken away, but to leave the fats.
Yep. In the cells.
How do you keep that moist during the night?
Well, what I suggest people do anytime they use a clay compress, they make it so it's not dripping wet, but not as hard as molding clay, but in between. Then you lie down, you put it on your face, try to keep it from running, and then you put a towel over that that's wet, a moist towel, not dripping wet, but moist. Put that over, and then you wrap an ace bandage around that. And then that'll hold it in place and keep it moist. Put plastic to cover the washcloth or the towel, whatever's damp. And then ace bandage over that. Pardon?
They cut an opening around here.
No, you can breathe out your nose, unless your nose doesn't breathe. Some people have jam.
How many years are they involved in that?
Pardon?
How many years are they involved with that?
Years.
How many times do you have to do that?
I know how many years does it take? Nothing is quick.
Oh, no. It takes a very long time. It depends upon your skin in the first place.
What on the insomnia?
Oh, the insomnia.
Yeah.
Usually when somebody's getting, we got onto the skin. When you have insomnia, it depends upon the person. Usually a person that will eat a lot of eggs, and fish in the evening, they'll usually be able to. I'd say 80% of the people can sleep. If somebody has constant dental work and problems, it could take years. And they'll go into cycles of sleeping, not sleeping as they're detoxifying. But if you use the clay in the gums, I'm answering the question, Burton. If you use the clay in there, it will help draw it out every night, every day, so you won't be so overloaded and have it freed up going to the brain.
So this is in your mouth, or you're talking in your
Yeah, you put it under your gums.
And just leave it in.
Yeah, leave it in all night.
By morning, it's all dissolved and swallowed.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
It's okay.
The only way you could prevent it from dissolving as much is you take good sterilized clay and you wrap it in that. The clay becomes moist, and then you pack it in there like that. Then it won't all dissolve.
We sterilize gauze.
Sterilized gauze. Yeah. Or you have organic gauze. That doesn't have to be sterilized.
Question.
Yes.
Keep it moist?
No. Olive oil will take away the activity, the drawing activity of the clay. Now you can do oil pulling. That's very helpful too. You put like coconut. I prefer coconut oil because olive oil is very acidic, and some of the other oils are a little harder. So coconut oil is a good one as long as it's unheated. And you put about a tablespoon of that in your mouth and you just swish it around. Some people do it for 10 minutes. Some people do it for a half an hour. And then their mouth just gets full within that time. Then they expectorate it. I've only done 2 laboratory tests from that. I checked the saliva, took the saliva before they did the oil pulling and after, and the concentration of toxins in that oil was very, very high.
So that will actually pull it?
Yeah, it will actually pull it because your brain dumps most of it out the gums and the tongue and the salivary glands. So you've got the oil doing it. Your body's going to work with you. Now, somebody who isn't on the diet, I haven't experimented with people who haven't been on a good diet. Their body may not be healthy enough to really know what it's doing. But on this diet, cells are pretty smart. So the body knows you're oil pulling, you have that oil there to draw the poisons out of the brain, just like it pulls the fats out of the face and the mouth. You already have it in the mouth, so it's drawing it out, and the brain and your body will take full advantage of it.
Is coconut cream okay too? To do that?
Coconut cream, it's got 7% oil. I have not tested, but it probably would work.
How long would you swish that in your mouth for?
It's up to you how much your mouth fills. I fill so much saliva quickly, I can only do it for 10 minutes, or I'll be choking. I have to spit a little out, keep it going, spit a little out, and keep it going every 10 minutes. Some people do it for 30 minutes, I do it for 10.
The recommended oil is sesame.
No, the recommended oil is all coconut oil.
Oil first?
Yeah. I don't care what they say. Yeah. Any of those oils have a tendency to be overly acidic. Coconut is not.
What about flax oil?
Flax oil is very acidic.
Is olive oil too?
Olive oil is very acidic. Any of those are very acidic.
That's got idea pull out anesthesia.
It will help do that too, yes.
If you have a lot of toxicity in the brain, a lot of heavy metals and all that accumulated in the brain, is this something good to do regularly?
Yes. I know people who do it every day, and it does help, and I see it helping. I see the movement of metals out of the brain. Then when they start doing the oil pulling on at least 5 days a week, there is a remarkable difference. I can see a change in 3 months, whereas normally it takes 6 months to see a drastic change.
And is there any danger of detoxing too quickly by doing this?
Possibly, but I've never known anybody to do that. But I don't know enough people who do it. So it might be possible, but I don't know. I have to say no when I don't know something.
That's where you get plaque too, right? Metal.
Those poisons, yeah, your body uses calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium and potassium from your food, and that plaques it like white tongue. That is your body using your good alkalinizing minerals to bind with the poisons that are coming from the brain out the tongue. So the Chinese say that's an awful thing. Sure, it's not good that you have poisons coming out of your tongue, but if you don't have a white tongue, if you don't have the minerals to bind with those poisons that come through the tongue, you're going to have a bleeding, sensitive tongue that you can't eat. Now, I've seen people with that. Give them lots of milk, all of a sudden their tongue's white-coated, and they can just brush it off, and then they can eat. They don't want to swallow that plaque from the tongue. But the same thing happens on the teeth. It will build up, because usually your mercury and your formaldehyde and the liquid aluminum, things from vaccines, when they come out, and the thallium, and tin contains thallium and some mercury, canned food, and it dumps along the tooth under the gum. So the body takes the minerals, the alkalinizing minerals, mainly calcium, the most concentrated of it, and causes a plaque on the teeth to prevent it from damaging the dentine and going to the tubules. But yet, if you're eating a cooked diet, the calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium is only 50% or less functional. So you can have a lot of plaque on your teeth and not prevent the damage that mercury can do. And if people want to see how much damage mercury can do, you go on to Alberta, you put on the search engine, YouTube, Alberta, neurons, mercury. And you'll come up with a video that they've done, and you see these brain neurons growing, and you see the little eyedropper come in with the mercury, and it drops it in the perspective. You've got these neurons, let's say this big, and this eyedropper comes in with the mercury, and it drops the mercury here. And within 2 seconds, these nerves are deteriorating. The mercury's over here. And the neurons are here, and they just start disintegrating. Just disintegrate. So that's how dangerous mercury can be. You don't have to be right against mercury to cause the damage. The gas alone could cause severe tissue damage anywhere in your body. Yes? ALS is a very difficult one. I help them live longer, but I haven't stopped anybody from dying of ALS. ALS is a deterioration of all the tissue in the body. Well, but a lot of people think that a lot of doctors think that it starts with MS. But it doesn't. I mean, I've never seen the hardening of the nerves first like happens in MS. It's like lupus, but it deteriorates all the tissue, not just the connective tissue that happens in lupus. Everything dissolves. But I've mitigated it. I have people on the diet lose very little weight, but they still die within 7 or 8 years. But that's still 7 or 8 years instead of 6 months, So, and like spinal cancer is one of the worst cancers you can have. People usually don't live with spinal cancer very long. unless they're on a strict diet and do it from the get-go, everything. And they just usually don't survive. But Barbara lived 7 years, with very severe spinal cancer. Advanced before she went on the diet. So, and that was pretty good. So it gave her time to write a book. It gave her time to make better communication with Jim, better communication with other people. She had a much better life because she was a fighter. She was living and surviving. She was making it happen. And that's quite an accomplishment. You had a question? Quinn.
When I have a statement, I wanted to say that I have a melanoma metastasis. And so if there's anybody in the group that has experience with that or know of somebody, I'd like to have a conversation with their experiences.
Anybody here have melanoma? I did. Right here. So, as recently as 2 weeks ago. Do you have another question?
Yes. At the cancer control conference this past weekend, there was a theme about detoxing the body, shifting acidosis to alkalizing the cells. And the Kangen
water
ionized water machine claims to be able to shift the cellular pH values.
That is an entire hoax.
So I'm wondering if you had some experience with this product.
It's a hoax. It's a hoax if you do on the raw diet. If you're on a high cooked acidic diet, that will be helpful. If you do that water or any heavy water and try to alkalinize the system, you prevent your digestive juices and bacteria which are acidic. 90% of our intestinal bacteria and digestive juices are acidic. They are putrefactive bacteria.
So they say drink the water not during the meal, but before.
Doesn't matter. You're going to have that water go through and alkalinize and neutralize your digestive juices. No other way to do it. The way you need to clean the body for the proper cleansing is get into a hot bath and be eating enough milk and other things that will stabilize you while you clean. The pineapple is your best cleanser, not an alkaline water. Because the pineapple is still acidic, so it's in harmony with the body. You have to remember that we are carnivores. We are not herbivores. So we want a 5.5 blood, urine, and the saliva. We don't want any alkaline event going on. If you're eating cooked foods, that's a different matter. You will need a lot of alkalinization because you're over-acidic. And you're eating everything cooked, or most things cooked, so the calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, potassium, which help clean the body and neutralize poisons and take the charge out of the toxic ions of mercury and cadmium and things like that. They are damaged heavily from cooking. In just 141 degrees, you've damaged 50% of the calcium. You've cauterized it. It's hardened. It can no longer absorb. So, just like clay, you take it, it's malleable, it'll absorb, you fire it at cone even 2. It's going to be hard. You're going to have a hard substance that will no longer absorb or very little absorption. Then when you get up to cone 9, you're into porcelain. How much can you absorb with porcelain? Nothing.
How about reverse osmosis water? Is that any better?
No water is good water unless it's just natural from the spring. But even that water is not good water. Because water dissolves the mucus membrane, the mucus that lines, it dilutes your digestive acids, and it causes over-alkalinity. There is no such thing as an acidic water unless there's a chemical plant around or some kind of dairy where they have a lot of runoff into the water. Now, when I lived outdoors, that's what I only wanted acidic, high algae water. So anytime when I lived outdoors, anytime I drank water, it was the dirtiest looking water I could find. Otherwise, I would my skin would dry out, I would lose weight very rapidly. So I had to eat water that was very dirty with clay, with mud, or with algae.
Where does wine fit into all of this? I mean, people have been taking grape juice and making wine for thousands of years.
Yep.
I wonder, is it just...
And how long have people been living? What is the age?
Just to get high on the alcohol?
Yeah, that's it. Well, there's a lot of people, if they're eating a lot of cooked and processed fats, if you have the alcohol, it helps break it down. But the French had it down. They had all of their raw milk, their raw cheeses, their raw creams. They made lots of really fatty sauces.
Right.
And that's what they had before they drank in their appetizers. They would have little crackers with their butter or their cream cheese on it, something like that. And then they'd start sipping their alcohol. The alcohol would get into the fat and use it as a fuel, as an energy source. But now, everybody's skinny conscious. So even in France, you have a tremendous reduction in fat consumption, and they're getting as fat and as weak and as bad as the rest of the world. The only ones who haven't fallen stupid to it are the Germans, and they'll still eat tremendous amounts of nasty, awful, stinky cheese, which is raw cheeses, which are great. Build a strong body. They have more steak tartare than anybody else. They consume 172,000 tons a year.
Still.
In this country, you're looking at about 30 tons a year of steak tartare. Big difference.
They've been doing that forever.
Pardon?
They've been doing
that forever. Why they should call it Frau something tartare rather than steak tartare, because that's French. And the French don't eat half that the Germans do. But still they eat a lot of steak tartare compared to the rest of the world.
And how are they specialized? Is there a food group that includes steak tartare? Like eggs on the side? Is that...
No, in steak tartare it's usually ground beef or finely chopped with egg yolk. A lot of them will eat the egg white on the side like I do. I have the egg white on the side. I used to go to restaurants, I'd call them ahead of time and say, listen, I'm on a special diet, I'm diabetic, I have cancer, I have to have, a special meal. And usually these chefs love it because they're making the same freaking thing every day. So it's a new thing. And these chefs will almost always come out and serve it to me personally because they've enjoyed doing something different. And I change the recipe. I say no salt, pepper's okay, no peppercorns though. Chop a little cilantro or parsley in it, and a little tomato, and put the egg white with the egg yolk. And he said, well, that's not steak tartare. That's what do they call those? Egg dish. What do you call those? When you have something with egg. Like a breakfast, you have an egg with it. Omelet. He said, that's an omelet. I said, then give me a frickin' omelet. A meat omelet. Okay. So I found that all of them have problem with that, so I tell them to put the egg white in a little cup on the side. And that's easy then. And I've never been refused.
You're happy to do it.
Yeah, happy to do it. Even in Finland.
Which place? You can get this?
Pardon?
Finland only?
No. You can get it anywhere. You just call the restaurant and you talk with the chef directly. And that gets rid of the general manager thinking, oh, raw meat, oh my God, we can't do that. So it just cuts him out. And cuts the waiter out too. Because the waiter's going to be panicking. But I do carry in the glove compartment, I do carry the California law that says they are allowed to serve raw meat if it's on the menu or the patron asks for it raw. So it is a law.
There's a Lebanese restaurant in my neighborhood that serves lamb liver, either sauteed or raw. And the first time I ordered it raw, 3 more people came up to our table to make sure he wanted it raw, not sauteed.
But that's normally what kitty is. That's normal kitty.
It's the
raw.
What place is that?
It's a Lebanese restaurant.
Okay, you have a question?
Hepatitis C, how do you...
Hepatitis C. Remember, your disease is the cure. The medical profession wants you to panic and think it's the attack. It's always the janitor. But whenever you have hepatitis, it's viral. That means that the liver is so toxic with industrial chemicals that the bacteria, the parasites, and the fungi cannot break the tissue down. The body has to dissolve that tissue with a solvent created by the cells. And that's what a virus is. It's just a solvent. Just like we have, muriatic acid to dissolve, compounds, grease off your, your swimming pool or your garage floor. Very toxic substances. But whenever you have a hepatitis, you've got a severely damaged, chemically toxic liver.
Pineapple good for that? Pineapple
No, I wouldn't say pineapple is good for that. Beet juice is good for that. You could have a little bit of pineapple with the beet juice. That would be okay. But you have to have little amounts of the pineapple or else you could dissolve the liver too fast. That's a situation where if I had somebody with lymphoma and liver cancer, I've got a conflict. And that would be a harder person to get through the cancers if it goes from the liver to the lymph or the lymph to the liver. So, because I've got conflicting things going on. So I have to watch a person like that more frequently, like every week. Yeah?
This was good for hepatitis, no?
Well, it is. If the hepatitis also has a lot of bile, the bile stuck in the liver, and the liver is supposed to be made in the bile is supposed to be created in the liver and then sent to the gallbladder, and that's where you store your excess bile. But sometimes if the bile is heavy in the liver, then the carrot juice helps remove the bile. Carrot juice helps remove bile anywhere in the body, especially if it's with a little bit of lemon, tiny bit of vinegar, and some honey and coconut cream.
And if the gallbladder is recommended that it needs to come out, ASAP, if the gallbladder needs to come out?
It doesn't need to come out. Ever. Ever. Just you'll never be able to eat ice cream again. You have to eat little amounts of fat at a time because you don't have a storage of gallbladder anymore. Bile is the gallbladder. Once that gallbladder is removed, you can only eat as much fat as the liver is producing bile at a time. If you eat ice cream with your gallbladder removed, anything with heavy fat, you're going to have diarrhea.
There are 2 masses in the gallbladder from the ultrasound last Wednesday that is causing irritation, blockage, and some unbelievable discomfort.
Put a hot water bottle there every night, all night long.
Yeah.
Put the hot water bottle there, wrap it around so it stays in place. And your body will put circulation in there. More circulation means more nutrients to cleanse and heal the area. Pardon?
What should the diet be for the gallbladder?
That's a whole different subject. Again, that's too specific for this environment. Okay, do you have a question, Michael?
place where I live, the EMF levels according to the is increased quite substantially.
Did they just put a smart meter in?
I have no idea what they did, but it's really got a lot.
It's either that or a tower. There's no way out of it. I have some people in Iowa that I told them how to make some magnetic patterns that they put on each wall, and it has helped the children. So what you do is you make 3 concentric circles, and it's on like a fabric, and you just hang
Cannot you
on
just
the wall
send a
above the
woman-
bed.
Somebody
Yeah, here we are.
This is the magnet.
This is the magnet. But usually for a wall, I want it twice this big. And this is what I designed and made because in the car I have a Prius, which is a hybrid, electric and gas. So around where the feet are, it pumps out a lot of electromagnetic field. So if I was in the car 2 hours at a time, like when I go to San Diego, my thighs would just ache, especially the right one, working the gas pedal. Or if I put this leg up on the mound and, use my left foot, this would ache by the time I was high. And I do switch legs just for the exercise, because that's the only exercise I do besides carrying my groceries.
I'm making it.
So I made that, and I put that. This is a down pillow. It's too thick. Needs to be half the size. Put one over here and one over here, and then put it inside a pillowcase. And I sit on that, and it draws all that electromagnetic field that generates into my leg right into the pillow, so it doesn't bother me. So I thought that it might work for the wall. So I had this one woman who lives near an electrical tower, and the EMF field is up to 13 in some of the bedrooms. So I had her make one twice the size of that for each room where the headboard was. So, and the kids are sleeping better and everything's working for them better. But they're looking for another house. And that's the best way to get away from it. You're going to be most poorly affected by it in your sleep time.
Is that right around the meter? What if you're like a long way away on another side of the large house?
Doesn't matter. You put your meter on and you see what it is. Some of those meters can shoot 50
I do have a
feet.
meter, and it's only a few feet. And it is a smart meter. They tricked me.
Uh-huh.
Mine broke. They came out and put something on a couple of years ago. Just found out recently it is a smart meter. And it is really high, but only for several, maybe 6 feet. And if you're like 30 feet away,
It's not going to bother you.
it's not going to hurt. Okay, good.
You have to be within the range.
Yeah, and it's measurable with a Gauss meter.
Well, that's a good one to measure its effect on you. I have one from Germany, and it's a $1,300 detector, and I can detect it 60 feet away. Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it would affect me.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, up to that feet.
Okay.
Usually,
Probably pretty good, but it's not
yeah.
hundreds of dollars. Yeah.
Right. Well, it's $150, $160 for a.
Yeah.
Well, $130, I think now. On
Right, I think
one
I might
website.
like that, yeah.
eCost, I think it was. eVitaCost, it's cheaper. Yeah.
I had Edison come by and check the property. I don't think it's fine. He said there's nothing that stops an EMF. They go through concrete, steel. They travel great distances, and if they get another EMF, it'll re-energize them. They can go further. They go into the ground. And
Yes, they will, but you have to be able to measure the 3 milligauss to alter the molecular structure of cells. Has to be that high. We're having it pass through us at 3 all the time. The Earth has it. I pick up my gals, if I'm touching a computer, any electrical device, even if it isn't on, it goes to 3. If I'm only touching the meter and my feet aren't grounded, it won't be anything. It won't read anything. But if I'm touching anything or if I'm grounded, that meter goes to a 3 just with me touching it. I have a high electrical field. I have put in doing TV shows, I have put more cameras on the blink than anybody on the planet.
That's a good
I
thing.
usually
That's yours.
I've killed 3 a week when I've been shooting. Yeah.
I just want to mention that I'm making the pillows for the cars, the magnetic pillows. So I just thought I'd let you know that. So
You can get it if you want one. It doesn't matter what car you have. If you have a Beamer, if you have a Jaguar, they're even worse. And it's the computer chips. They're using instead of transistors, they're using what are they called? can't remember, transistors, and they're using another element that causes the electromagnetic field. 50 cents more, they could reduce it all. They're so freaking cheap, and they do want to make us sick. Same people who invest in the electronics, invest in pharmaceuticals, so they want money from every angle. And they do help each other in getting us sick. And it is a conspiracy, and I'm not paranoid.
So are you saying that older cars, for example, have to...
Older cars who have the less computer arrangement, the less field they have.
Casper clunkers need a lot of those off the road.
That's why they did it.
Say what?
Yeah. Casper clunker.
Need a bunch of those off the road.
Now everybody's driving around with 135 to 200 milligrams of electromagnetic field exposure. So those pillows were very helpful for me, so I'm sure they'll work for other people.
Do you recommend the same kind of pillow that she has?
Well, that's too thick.
I have to cut the pillow
in half, and then, half that thickness, and then it goes inside the pillowcase.
And when it's coming through your feet and leg, how does it prevent that?
It's coming through, and your body draws it with the magnetic field. It draws it here.
Pulls it from the feet?
Draws it out of the leg into the pillow.
It doesn't stay in the feet?
No, because you have unless you're terribly deformed, you have energy that runs up to the brain all the time. It's flowing down and up, all the way around. So you've got a bunch of magnets there drawing it up. And those magnets, they're north, south, north, south, north, south. So you don't get too much of your own energy field pulled into the pillow. So it mitigates that. That's the way Nikan did it when I studied with Nikan from 89 to 92, and their magnetic healing properties. A lot of the product that they put out was absolutely, completely contrary to their science. Like their bed, the magnets were up and down in lines instead of in the spirals, and not flipped from north to south. It's like, hey, you got all this science and you're not using it. You're selling these freaking little thin pads with magnets on it for $1,000. No integrity. Some people have no freaking integrity.
Amen. So this would also be a good idea to use around a computer.
Absolutely.
You would stand
Anytime
on it?
you're around an electromagnetic field, it's helpful.
Just sitting on it.
Just sitting on it. Yeah.
What if you have a stand?
You just draw it all out your butt. Okay, you have a question, guys?
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions, so we'll just take one here. Back when I used to have these serious eye infections that just wouldn't go away, I'm sure you
does anybody remember how bad the skin and eyes were? They were always red and swollen, and oozing all the time. All the time. And the skin was always full of rosacea and sores. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah. Thank you. But back then, I did some things you said, and I sort of made a mistake then that I'm still suffering from. At that time, I was just realizing that Lyme juice kills infection. But I made a mistake of just putting just like a drop of lime juice in my eye, straight, without egg white or anything. And that was absolutely the wrong thing to do. And as of now, after that, this eye it was like everything was through a gauze, but that's gone away, and I can see, depth and color, but it's still blurry. And I just wondered if there's, something I could and should do. I tried bone marrow.
You scarred the cornea. So you probably only have one layer left. Like when I had the cancer that ate a third of my nose away, put a hole right here, burned through the bone, and right here, a hole in here. One night, the acid from the melting of the tumor went down into my eye, and it burned my cornea. 8 layers of scar tissue. I was blind in that eye. And that was just over a few hours in one night. Damaged the eye. That's how bad the compounds are when you start dissolving tumors. You have to have the nutrients, and you have to protect yourself from those fluids discharging into something very sensitive like the eyes. So I went to the optometrist, and I said, what do you think? And she said, you've got 8 layers of scar tissue there minimum, and you'll have to have a cornea transplant. That's the only way you'll ever be able to see out of that eye. So 7 years later, I went to have my driver's test done again, and I had to do the vision test, and I was actually able to read the chart with that left eye. So I went back to they said, you still have to wear glasses, for driving, for this eye. And I said, but wait a minute, I just read it. He said, but you just could have a good day. You may have glaucoma. I don't know what your problem is. So I had to go to back to the optometrist, and she said, you only have 1 layer of scar tissue left. Pretty cool. She never thought it could happen. I'd have to get a cornea transplant.
You put the egg white on it, that would help?
Egg white and butter. You put the egg white on in the morning and the butter at night.
You healed my eye when I put pure oregano oil in it by mistake, thinking it was water.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see for days. It was like out to here. It was just dripping, and I thought I was going blind. And egg white did it.
Yep.
You said it'll take about a week. A week later, it was perfect.
You went from 8 layers of scar tissue, some was one way.
It's 1 a year. 1 a year.
And with that, you could see the chart.
Yeah.
So what you're saying for me is
Egg white in the morning, butter at night.
a little dropper full, like a little...
No, what I suggest you do is you take the egg white. Hello? You take the egg white and you just tap it onto your little finger. You pull your eyelid down, you look up, so all you see is white, and then you rub it along the white. And then you hold both open and you roll it around like you're a circus master and get it all over the eye. Some people don't like to do both eyes open at once, so they'll pull this down, roll it around, and then this up, and then roll it around, and that gets the egg white all over the eye. Then at night you do the same thing with the butter. You have to put just a dab of butter in your palm until it melts. Then you put it in. But make sure you're already in bed because you're going to have a fog over your eyes for about 10, 20 minutes now. That's why I say do the butter at night, and that's just the most healing anyway at night. And the egg white will strengthen it. It's mostly protein, and it will strengthen the eye for the day. Pollution hits it. And then the butter at nighttime will help soothe and strengthen the eye in a different way, in a cleansing way.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Okay? You're welcome.
Would that help somebody that had like a retina operation? Would that help the strength of the eye also?
No, because it would if they did it long enough and every day, because the retina is very deep.
I mean, they operated and they hooked it up again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But see, that's very deep.
deep, okay.
We were just talking about mainly the cornea and the iris and the sclera. It helps, yes. Yes, it would.
Welders have a problem with that.
Absolutely.
Even automatic lenses aren't fast enough. It's a lot of starts.
I have a question about the bath in the evening. When I take a bath in the evening, when I wake up with a very dry mouth, and I'm like dehydrated in the morning.
Okay, you're supposed to, when you ever take the baths, you drink a cup of milk or a sport drink before you get in, 2 cups while you're in there if you're in 90 minutes, and then a cup when you get out. So it should be a quart. If you're doing a 90-minute bath, you need a quart within 5 hours of that space, where, an hour and a half of it or 90 minutes of it is in the bath. You need to replace those fluids. You will have lost 3 cups of fluid in a 90-minute bath. And then you have an extra 1 cup when you get out of the bath because you're going to perspire during the night. You're going to continue to perspire another cup.
Does it matter what time of day or night you do the bath and all that?
Doesn't matter.
That's in addition to that pineapple, coconut cream stuff that you just take right when you start.
If you're doing the baths regularly, you can have that. That was just when you were having it 2 days a week. The pineapple mixture had to coincide close to the bath. But if you're doing the baths every day, the pineapple every other day is fine.
Pineapple in the juice, in the mix.
There's a pineapple mixture you're supposed to take to help melt the lymphatic congestion. It's in the book, under baths, and lymphatic congestion. Yes, Lucky. Did you have your hand up? Okay.
Can I ask one more question? When I came to talk to you, I mentioned I had a stroke and that I ate lots of chocolate. And you mentioned that it's not good for people who had strokes. And I wonder if you'd talk more about that because you go on
the only people who had strokes on this diet were the people who continued to eat chocolate.
The raw chocolate?
No, not raw chocolate. They cheat and eat the bad chocolate. The raw chocolate wouldn't cause that problem. But you have to understand that in the cooked chocolate, the processed chocolate, you've got hydrogenated vegetable oils. It's not butter, and it's not cream like it used to be. You've got plastic fats. And then you've got a stimulant. You've got theobromine and caffeine in there. Some of it has caffeine. And that stimulates the flow in the brain, in the nerves. And you got to get a block with the plastic.
Well, I had to bleed it.
Oh, bleeding. So you ruptured.
So I should
You're so fat division, I can see that. Tissues are very thin inside. But you can have the raw chocolate. You can make a raw chocolate and eat that. That's fine. You may not sleep as well because it still causes a stimulation.
Oh, she's not here?
I can only have it once a month. I'm going to have it.
Chocolate.
The raw chocolate. My raw recipe. Do you have a question?
I do. It pertains to the lymphatic system. As I understand it, I'm reading, not from using a microscope or anything like that. The cardiovascular system, of course, has the heart pumping away. The lymphatic system has no such central pump.
Nope, it's very slow.
Little flap valves in the lymphatic tubes. And so the theory goes that especially the trampolines, the rebounders, the chairs that are suspended by springs that allow you to do up and down are good to help stimulate the flow of the lymph system because it helps the lymph fluid to move through the lymph tubes more readily.
Great idea if it's moving. If it's jammed and clogged and hardened, I can sit here with a stick of cold butter and it's not going to move at all. If I just jump all day, it's not going to move.
Right.
So if the lymphatic system is clogged and jammed, you can jump all day and it's not going to help.
Well, right. No,
The lymph system has to be fluid and working properly for that
That's just
to
another
be
issue.
effective.
I see that. Plasticizing of the lymphatic fluid.
You can jump forever. It's not going to help. You have to melt it in the bath, then do your exercise as you want.
That's my question.
Okay, do you have a question?
People that are older, they get
Like me?
No, you are.
Almost
but
65.
Okay. I'm thinking of like an 85-year-old or something like that, and she's got like a discoloration in her legs, like little spots, but they're like red or sometimes they might be like round or something, little spots. That doesn't look right. I mean, it's like
Well, usually it's dead cells. The darker cells are cells from a liver, pancreas, spleen, or gallbladder, or kidney. They're dead cells that the body put into the skin. Mostly your elder people, your octogenarians, they may have 25% of the cells in their body alive. If you're walking around like this, you might have 23% alive. If you've got 23% carrying 100% of weight, that's a serious problem. So you can't afford to get rid of a lot of dead cells, so you just build them as bricks in the wall. But every time your body does that and cells die as you get older and you're not eating raw meats, anything to regenerate cells for more cellular division to keep up with that loss, you just get weaker and harder to function. So those will build into the body. Let's say the body can't reproduce any more cells at all in the skin. Any cells it can borrow from the liver if they're dead cells, rather than throwing them out of the body in the bowels or dissolve it in the lymphatic system, throw out the skin, it'll build it into the skin. It release its bricks in the wall. Otherwise, they'd have ulcerations, they have psoriasis, eczema, something like that.
White motor for the steak tartare.
There you go. And with a lube formula.
There you go. Finish off with egg.
That'll work. You won't digest that very well, but space those out and you'll do with an elderly person. Do you have a question, Dave?
Maybe just a general question on psychological health. Sort of, are there other aspects to it besides diet that you...
Just remember, anybody who has depression, that is a matter of low bacteria in the colon. The E. coli is the main bacteria that breaks down to the fats and the proteins to the finite molecule that feeds the brain and the nervous system. If you have depression, it is always a low bacterial level. Your brain's not getting fed. That's why you can eat high meat and high eggs and be giggling in a few minutes, 10, 20 minutes, because the bacteria has already broken down into those finite molecules. So you eat it and it goes right into the nervous system. That's why the high meat works. That's why high eggs work. If you're in anxiety, that's a matter of exercising. You've got physiological hormones for physical activity, and you don't spend them, your body's going to make you spend them in anxiety. And it's either force yourself to exercise or be an asshole. And make your relationships awful and everything else bad in your life because you're irritable.
So you're saying I can buy my boss a membership in a gym?
Gym, absolutely. If he's irritable, absolutely. And if you don't have the energy, let's say you're chronically fatigued, like the one person said, chronically fatigued, sing. 20 minutes of singing is an hour on a treadmill. Just think, when you have to control the air, the volume, the tone, everything coming out of here, it is the most strenuous exercise a human can do. Look at your opera singers. You ever seen a skinny opera singer? No. It takes a huge amount of energy to do what they do. So sing. If you sing badly, pass out earplugs. Or find a closet or something.
Finish with a rousing chorus.
Yes, right.
I sweat very little. Is this a problem or not?
Yes, it is. You take hot baths.
Okay. Well, that's what I should do?
Yeah. Get up the hot tub. Now, you can get an Ofuro hot tub. Ofuro. It's a Japanese hot tub. And it is oval, like this. It's about that big. Two people get in, face each other. In Canada, I have a lot of patients who have it. It takes up about 5 square feet of a room, of a corner of a room. So it is inside, so you don't have to worry about the water getting too cold and the heating of it when it's outside. It's a tremendous expense. It used to cost me $250 a month if I used the hot tub, just turned it on before I used it. If I kept my hot tub on 24 hours a day, it cost me $375 a month for that hot tub. But this, you have the Ofuru tub here, and you have the pump, the filter, sand filter, and your heater over here in this pocket here. So it's all hidden. And it's a nice wood tub. Very nice looking. And if you go to cedartubs.com, that hot tub, which used to cost $6,000, is now $1,850. Do not buy your heater and filter or anything else from the same company, because that is sky high. You go on and say, I need a small water heater. And then you go into the sites that have all these different prices, and you can get a good one that'll heat that very nicely for about $300. Then you get a Hayward sand filter that belongs in a small pool or an outdoor hot tub, and that's $120. Then you get a small pump that's about 1/4 of a horsepower. That's all it takes. And you just have a plumber come and put them together. And remember, your filter goes before the heater. If you have a lot of dead cells running through that heater, you're going to start plaquing that heater, and it's not going to work. So it has to run through the filter first before it goes through the heater and back into the hot tub as it circulates.
And just what type of water?
Well, if you're using city water, you've got the sand filter there to help break it down. You can also put vinegar and some sea salt in there, and that'll run through. The vinegar will keep the salt from corroding the heating element, so they have to be together.
Hayward, is that H-A-Y or H-E-Y?
Hayward.
That's just go in the living room?
Yeah, you can do it in a living room, family room, bedroom. It's going to take up about 5 to 6 square feet of their room. Patio, yeah, but then you're going to have more of a heating bill. But yeah, some people do put it on their patios. Okay, we've covered everyone.
No, we haven't.
Oh no, Allison, I'm so sorry. You moved?
What about me?
You've already.
No, they were in the supplements to your topic.
No, I asked you a question and you gave me an answer. How many people? Yeah, see? Yeah. Okay. I said, Louis, do you have a question?
You never said that.
You have too much aluminum in your brain. Yes, go ahead, Alex.
A couple of questions. To rebuild my glands a little faster, like I started eating some 100% grass-fed beef liver, and I felt so good. I felt so great. And I had it with some of the raw mustard. And you mentioned heart. Do you think like kidney would be good or not?
Well, kidney has a lot of ammonia in it, so you have to be careful of that. It can make you dizzy, it can make you nauseous. It depends on how your body handles ammonia. The way the kidney works is the kidney is responsible for getting excess fluid out of the bloodstream. It does it by manufacturing ammonia. The ammonia prevents the red blood cells from entering the kidney. And that's the only thing the kidney prevents is red blood cells and a lot of white blood cells from entering the kidney. And the ammonia does that. That's why it manufactures the ammonia. So the ammonia is a repellent to the red and white blood cells. Otherwise you'd be anemic every time you peed. So when you eat that ammonia, you can stop the exchange of the oxygen if the ammonia gets into your blood. So most people can handle it, but some people can't. So if you eat kidney or shark that's old or stingray that's old that's very high in ammonia, and you get dizzy and you get nauseous and you start feeling like you're going to pass out, you're not handling ammonia, so don't eat kidney. And don't eat old shark and don't eat old
So
stingray.
maybe just like stick to liver and like heart?
Yeah, liver and heart's good.
Liver and heart?
Yeah, liver and heart's good.
Like heart, can I have that with raw mustard, or is that better to have it with milk? Or
No, it's okay. It all depends on what you want.
Okay.
It's just if I have heart very frequently, I'm horny all the time. It's a hell of a Viagra, too.
You don't mix them together, the liver and the heart.
Pardon?
You don't combine the liver and the heart.
Oh, if I did that, I would never sleep. I only sleep 3.5, 4 hours a day now. If I have those, I sleep an hour and a half a day.
If somebody with low energy, would that help them if they had a combination of the...
Yeah, it definitely would help,
the milk
yeah.
and the honey or soup?
If you're chronically fatigued, that would help, as long as the body can afford to have energy. Liver and heart together.
The ammonia foods would always have that retarding effect on the energy transfers.
It might. Some people can handle that. They can utilize the ammonia in a different way, like to make viruses, solvents to dissolve toxicity. And it doesn't get into the blood.
Got it.
If the lymphatic system uses the ammonia, fine.
Right.
If it gets into the blood, you've got an oxygen barrier problem.
Right. And you could be already in such a condition that that's becomes a tipping point.
And then you're on the ground. And if you ever feel that way, don't take a chance. You get right down on your knees. You feel like that, you get down on your knees immediately. And just go like this. And wait till it's over. Okay? Don't take a chance on splitting your head open. Who was it? John Travolta's son. Passed out, killed himself by hitting the bathtub or sink or whatever it was, and killed himself just on a fall from a dizzy spell. So.
Whole Foods gets this beef liver in, and apparently sometimes it comes in frozen, sometimes it's
I do not trust Whole Foods. Anything other than their grass-fed beef.
Oh yeah, the grass-fed beef now.
That's the only thing I trust there.
And only 100%, according to their own data in the little pamphlet, is the step 5 plus. It says step 5 plus, which I haven't seen yet. That would be something that was 100% grass-fed, period.
Right.
But step 4 is 75% grass-fed, and they don't tell you what else and when else.
Yeah. I would go to Maryland and go to our club and get the heart and liver, from the Bison, North Star, or from Eli King or one of the Amish farmers, where we get our supplies.
And what about in terms of high meat? If I want to swallow it with milk, can I do that? Is that all right?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It won't work as quickly. You won't get high in 10, 20 minutes. It may take an hour.
Okay. But if I can just do it without any liquid, it's better. That's what you're saying. You have a high meat.
Yeah, it will work faster, definitely.
But I can do it with milk if I want.
Yeah. Well, what I usually do is I eat it and then rinse my mouth with milk, and I will swallow that milk because I get all that bacteria in that milk. So when that milk gets into the system, it delivers it. But it's only an ounce of milk.
After eating high meat.
And that's okay.
You rinse your mouth with milk?
Yeah. After I eat the high meat.
You rinse it, but you swallow it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's to get all that stinky stuff so I'm not, because I speak to a lot of people, so, I've got bad breath already because I had that vagotomy. I had the vagotomy. So I will always have bad breath because I have no vagus nerves to the stomach. So the acids back up. I start my stomach digestion here where the acids pour into my food. So that causes a lot of bad breath, and I can't get around it. Ever since that surgery, I will live that for the rest of my life. But if I have high meat on top of it, that can be really nasty. So I'll rinse the mouth, with some milk and swallow it.
Sort of young milk. And seemingly in a few hours it started to separate. Then over a couple of days, put it in quart jars. It just got very, very activated. And I continue to eat it, but there's a point where there's
too much alcohol. Sometimes you need to reblend it. Not just shake it, you need to reblend it.
I generally blend it with honey, but it still seems, in the evening, to lower my body temperature.
Well, it has a lot of high alcohol in it, so you have to be careful. Now, I've never had that problem with all the milk, and I get my milk old, and I don't take it home right away, and I let it get warm. My milk gets foul by the end of the week, and I don't mind that because it's pre-digesting, especially the fats are pre-digesting. And then when the fats break down quickly, the proteins will follow quickly. Since I don't have the hydrochloric acid, I like to utilize that. It means more stinky breath, yes, but I've never had milk from Maryland separate. So you must have had it out of the fridge a long time before you got it into a fridge.
So if you have the liver, like you said, liver milk, and you make that combination, that drink, that super drink with the liver and the honey and the milk, and you get energized, that's a positive thing?
Yeah. Yeah, positive thing.
So I can add a little heart to it to even add more energy to it?
Yeah, just if you just add it too often, you might find yourself getting erections any time of the day, all the time. So. You might find yourself getting horny times of the day that's not convenient.
Will that happen for women?
Yeah.
Especially.
Not especially. From the heart combined with the liver.
Why is it because the heart has more hormones than the liver does?
Well, the heart's used, remember the penis is a muscle. The clitoris is a muscle. Okay? And that heart is all muscle, the liver is all muscle. And if you have them together, it creates swelling in the muscles. A lot of blood into the muscles, and that's what an erection is. You've got a penis full of blood. A lot of blood.
Are you also saying the heart is more acidic? Has more...
The heart, remember, is pumping. Its muscles are going. The liver is just undulating.
And filtering.
Pardon?
And filtering.
The liver? Not supposed to be a filter. That's only because we're so toxic. Every part of the body becomes a filter, not just the liver. We're dumping poisons everywhere into every part of the body, not just the liver. There's just a lot of alternative therapists and other doctors like to punch the liver up. Say, well, you got to take care of the liver. Just to get a way to get you to do what they want you to do, and they'll bullshit you to get there. Every part of the body is a filter. Any place you can store poisons is a filter. And your body stores it everywhere. The liver is one of the last places it wants to store it. It'll be one of the last places to get toxicity.
Well, for a non-toxic body, what's the liver doing?
The liver does one thing, it makes bile to digest fat. That's all it does.
So if your liver is not working, then you can't digest fats.
That's correct. Not without help.
The liver and heart drink or whatever, eating it. You said if you have chronic fatigue, it depends on if your body can handle having that energy. Is that right?
Yeah. If you like when you first came to me, every tissue inside your body was thin. You could have torn, you could have internal bleeding, you could have an aneurysm, in your brain, in your heart. Any tissue could have torn. If you pumped your energy level up, raised your blood pressure, and tore. Even in your intestines, it could have happened. So now you're much more stable. Everywhere, all of your tissues are stable. And I can tell that by the tissue around your eyes especially. So you can exercise now if you like. Have the liver and the heart and milk and honey mixture if you like. Okay? All right, folks.
I don't recall being...
I do. Specifically.
You say you have to be, and I've never heard that.
Other people did.
It had to pertain to the wrinkles, and I think he
No, that was... after that, I asked him, do you have a question, Louis? Because I went from her to you and then back there.
Well, if that's true, what was my question?
I do not remember. It would take me probably 2 or 3 minutes to think about it.
Play back your tape and see.
Yes, play back your tape and you'll find it.
Yeah. Oh,
but go ahead and ask a question, Louis.
Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm trying to get clarity as far as following the general structure of the primal diet. You have it laid out in your recipe book as far as following a cycle.
That's a general one that I haven't given people of specific.
Yes. So do I? For instance, if I sip milk a lot each day, do I still do the milkshake? Or
not necessary. Okay. But if you the milkshake is most people do not form good mucus, so they need milkshake to form the mucus. Almost everybody who's starting off on the diet. He's been on the diet a long time. You can just sip the milk. If you go through a period of where you get dry throat, your nose gets too dry and you start putting out hard boogers, you need a milkshake.
Okay, and likewise, eating cheese on a regular basis. At one time, you suggested one could eat a tablespoon and a half of cheese with honey.
After a meat meal.
Only after a meat meal. 5 minutes only.
35 minutes after a meat meal.
35 minutes. Guys.
35 minutes after a meat meal. That is your mineral supplement. Hello, everyone. Keep it down. You're still talking. Okay, go ahead. So that is to get your mineral supplement. You will not digest raw, no salt cheese unless there's honey with it.
Yes.
Or pineapple or something like that.
Okay.
But honey's the best one to digest and utilize the minerals in a stable way. If you have pineapple with the cheese, it's going to use it as a fuel. And that's a waste of those concentrated minerals as far as I'm concerned.
Pineapple with cheese, yeah.
Delicious, though. And that's okay to eat it. But I mean, when I have people eat honey with their cheese after a meat meal, that's for stability. Those minerals are for stability, not for energy.
Same goes with any other fruit. If you like the pineapple, like an apple with cheese would be the same as a pineapple?
Not quite.
But similar.
Yeah, similar. You've got the bromelain in the pineapple, and the acids as well as the sugar. So it's going to be a big fuel builder. Apple will be more of a cleanser.
Or any other fruit.
The pectin with it.
Yeah. None of the other fruits would be as good as the honey. In other words,
no, it won't be a mineral substance to be able to use to stabilize the body. Only honey will do that.
Okay.
All right, folks.
I wanted to say, is Bikram or yoga place okay to go? They eat their room with that eaters.
Get near the window. Whenever I went there, I would crack the window like that, and I did my exercise right at the window.
There's no window to crack. They have a closed door. It's well selling.
Then I would find a place that has Bikram yoga. There's a place in Santa Monica.
It's Olympic and Colby. They don't have no window.
There's another place in Santa Monica.
There's another place in Santa Monica where I went, and it's a very nice studio, and they have 4 sets of windows on one wall.
Santa Monica, what's the boulevard? Santa Monica.
Let's see. I think it's on. You got Broadway, Santa Monica. Broadway, is it?
There's Power Building. There are 3 studios on Santa Monica. 3 of them. Santa Monica. We talked about this as well.
The Radio Shack. It's near the Radio Shack.
Bikram's other studio, I'll call them. That's Bikram's studio.
Well, I don't know. They do Bikram yoga. I don't know what the studio. I don't remember what the studio is called. It's been 10 years since I've gone. I went because there was a girl that took me. My girlfriend wanted to take Bikram yoga. That's the only reason I